Most of us don't realise how tightly we grip onto the need to know what's going to happen next. We say we're planning, preparing, organising, but often we're trying to manage something much deeper, the fear of not knowing what's coming next. For so many of the people I work with in therapy, it's not the uncertainty itself that's overwhelming, it's the belief they've attached to it. The belief that if I don't know, I won't cope, that uncertainty equals threat, that the unknown means something bad is probably just round the corner. And so we brace, we overthink, we plan every outcome, rehearse every conversation, catastrophize even the smallest ambiguity. But the problem isn't uncertainty. The problem is that our nervous system has learned to interpret not knowing as danger. This belief that uncertainty is anxiety provoking isn't something you're born with. It's learned, it's shaped by our experience, our environment, and the stories you've told yourself about safety, control, and failure. And because it's learned, it can also be unlearned, slowly, gently, with awareness and compassion. For some, the fear of uncertainty begins in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a household where emotions were unpredictable, or where chaos reigned just beneath the surface. In environments like that, being able to predict what might happen next could feel like the only way to survive. So your nervous system adapted. It learned to scan ahead, anticipate outcomes, avoid risk, and seek out anything that felt predictable. As a child, this was intelligent. It was protective. It was your way of staying safe. When unhelpful parenting creates neglect or unpredictability of mood or behavior, as children, we need to make sense of the world around us, and will gradually create negative beliefs that attempt to explain how we're feeling. What I call what ifs. What ifs are a childlike attempt at control. What if I can't cope? What if my parents leave me? These repetitive what ifs, childlike what ifs, are the basis of self-limiting beliefs as adults of I'm not good enough or I'm unlovable. But this same strategy that protected you then can imprison you now. So it's important to explore the possibility that underpinning your anxiety around uncertainty is a core negative belief. If you believe that not knowing means you're unsafe, then even the smallest ambiguity will spark anxiety. Waiting for a text back, starting a new job, facing a health issue with no clear answers, even exploring a new relationship. All of it becomes a potential for a trigger, and that anxiety can be relentless because life itself is existentially uncertain. The more you try to escape uncertainty, the more anxious you become because the reality is you can never escape it. At best you can avoid it temporarily, at worst you start to limit your life to only what you can control. The good news is this doesn't have to be permanent. In therapy, we explore how to shift the belief itself to move from uncertainty is dangerous, moving to uncertainty is uncomfortable, but I can tolerate it. That shift, though simple, is, for many, profound. One of the first steps is recognizing the belief when it shows up. Instead of being swept away by anxiety, we pause and ask, what am I telling myself right now? Often we uncover thoughts like, if I don't know what's happening, something bad will happen. Or if I can't predict the outcome, I'll make the wrong choice. Or even, I won't be able to cope unless I have all the answers. Now, when you slow down enough to notice these thoughts, you create space to question them, space to ask, is this true? Is this the only way to see this situation? You begin to understand that the belief linking uncertainty to anxiety isn't an objective truth. It's a lens you've created shaped by experience, but one that can be updated. And here's something else I remind my clients. Uncertainty isn't just the space where bad things might happen, it's also the space where growth happens, where love can emerge, where healing begins. Everything meaningful you've ever done likely started with uncertainty. The first day at school, moving to a new place, saying yes to a new relationship, beginning therapy. All of it began with not knowing, and yet you did it. What we begin to realize in therapy is that we don't actually need certainty to move forward. We need trust. Trust in our own capacity to navigate what comes. Trust in our ability to cope with not having all the answers. And that trust doesn't come from reading books or thinking positive thoughts. It comes from experience, from gradually exposing ourselves to the unknown in safe, manageable ways and proving to ourselves that we can survive it, even if it's uncomfortable. This is what's called expanding your window of tolerance. When we're used to avoiding uncertainty, even in a small amount can feel overwhelming. But with time and support, we increase our capacity to stay present with the unknown. And as that capacity grows, the need for control softens. The anxiety loses its grip. It's also important to say this: we don't aim to eliminate anxiety completely. We aim to change our relationship with it, to see anxiety as a signal, not an enemy, a part of us that's trying to protect, not punish. When we create our anxiety with compassion instead of shame, it often begins to settle. Another powerful part of this work is learning to regulate your nervous system, because when you're in a state of threat, no amount of reasoning will calm you down. Your body needs to feel safe before your mind can think clearly. So we use tools like grounding exercises, breath work, somatic awareness, mindfulness. These aren't just trendy techniques, they're ways of telling your nervous system you are safe. You're not in danger right now. You don't have to solve everything immediately. Once your body feels safe, the belief can shift. Uncertainty begins to lose its charge. It's no longer a flashing red alert. It's just a part of life. Sometimes uncomfortable, but not unmanageable. And what starts to emerge in its place is a new belief. A more helpful, grounded belief, like I don't need to know everything to move forward. Or uncertainty means I'm growing. Or even I can be okay without knowing what's next. I've seen clients step into entirely new lives once this shift takes root. They stop obsessively planning every detail. They stop avoiding decisions until they're 100% sure. They stop seeking constant reassurance, and they start living with more spontaneity, more resilience, and more emotional freedom. Because the opposite of anxiety isn't certainty, it's trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust that even if you don't know the outcome, you will find your way through. You are not fragile. You're an adaptive human being. The part of you that fears uncertainty is simply trying to help. It just doesn't realize yet that you're no longer living in the past, that you have new tools now, that you're not alone in it. Therapy offers the space to rewrite these patterns, not with force, but with kindness. It helps you turn towards the part of you that's scared of not knowing and say, it's okay, I'm here now. We don't have to control everything to be safe. And when that happens, when uncertainty no longer triggers panic, but invites presence, that's when real change becomes possible. That's when anxiety loosens and something new can begin. And if you'd like help with this, visit my website and book a free discovery call. And let's see what's possible.